Hey everybody, this is Eric. How you doing? Welcome to the comic shop cinema corner thing. I don't know what I'm going to call it. But anyway, I had this idea a while ago that I would, because we talk about these movies on the podcast, is generally speaking, a lot of times me and Scott will go see a movie together, and me and Brother Ed will go see a movie together. But most of the time I go see movies by myself, just because everybody's busy. It's hard to find time that two people go see a film together. What I thought I would do, and I've been meaning to do this for a while, is I get in my truck and as I tool along my merry way, I thought I'd just turn the camera on real quick and give my first impression, whatever it is I just watched. And if I pick this up, I'd like to keep going. There's a lot of movies, a ton of movies. I got plenty of stuff to talk about. And so this will be spoiler-free first impressions or whatever it is I saw. And so there you go. So I am in my truck. It is March 5th, I think, and it's Sunday. There you go. And I just saw the film Logan. So I am going to go about my business. I got a couple errands to run. And in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you about this movie. So here we go. Seatbelts, people. All right. So, Logan, I remember a couple weeks ago, I think it was, that I posted something on Facebook from, I think it was comicbook.com, where they aggregated a bunch of tweets and like social media quick reviews that critics and stuff were putting online after having seen advanced screenings of this. And they were overwhelmingly positive. Like, people were blowing this movie up and talking about how they made the perfect. This is the best Logan movie that they could have made, the best Wolverine movie they could have made, and it is an excellent comic book movie for what it is and stuff like that. So after having seen the film, I have to 100% agree. This son of a gun lives up to the hype. It really does. Well, first and foremost, and a lot of people, if you listen to the podcast, you know that my pet peeve is if something takes me out of a movie. And the one example I always give is in Force Awakens, after they go back to the Rebel base after Han Solo gets killed. Spoilers. Chewie gets off the Falcon and just kind of walks past Leia without any interaction there. And that took me out of the movie. I was like, man, that is some kind of choice you just made there, JJ. That took me right out of the movie. The other example I usually give is Batman versus Superman, which is pretty much the entire movie. Took me out of the movie. That one's for Scott. There was one shot that I thought was kind of clumsy, but it wasn't bad enough. It was part of a larger action set piece. But I gave it a pass, man, because it's this movie affected. I mean, I'm not trying to be too melodramatic about it, but I mean, we've been dealing with these characters for almost 20 years, and they're part of what makes comic book movie. They're part of the history of the new reality of comic book movies and genre pictures. And not without spoiling anything, but I mean, Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman made no secret about the fact that you never say never, but this is pretty much it for them playing these characters. And so my next statement comes from that, is that being the case, this is about as perfect an epilogue / last chapter. I apologize for the sun. I realize I'm going along with this. Just about as perfect an epilogue or last chapter as you could give us for these characters. James Mangold did an excellent job with the writing. It's not it's not forced. It's not over the top. And you know what? He doesn't give us everything. He doesn't let us know everything. There isn't 100% exposition in this movie, and it's perfect because there's stuff that you can stop and you can think, wow, man, something happened there. And he's just telling us that something happened, but he's not telling us everything that happened. And it's wonderful because you don't need to know it. It'd be baggage. Supporting cast is great. Boyd Holbrook was great. I wish I could come up with her name right now, but the actress that played X-23 was lovely. Just straight up lovely. And she took her time. You know, and that's her combined with the writing and Mangold's directing. They took their time with that character, and by the time, like, there's one quick payoff. It's not a quick payoff. It's actually kind of important. But when it happens, and it's played a little bit for humor, but when it happens, it's like, yep, that's obvious. I should have seen that coming. And they wait for a while, and then they give it to you. And then from there, it progresses further, but it progresses at a very specific pace with that character. Like I said, they take their time. They do right by us in that. And seriously, Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, they're playing these characters. They're playing Logan and Charles out of type so much and in such a beautiful way that I can't. I've seen them talk on the internet talk about this movie, and they're talking about this movie, and like they in the way that they seem to have been affected by the movie, you know, and you can't put it past them. I was affected by the movie. I mean, I'm 41 years old, I'm 6 foot tall, 260 some odd pounds. I mean, twice, hard, not like hard like crazy, but hard enough to notice. You know, twice. I broke just a little bit. I don't want to be too melodramatic about it, maybe, but as a father of daughters, I mean, you kind of get punched in the gut a couple of times. At the end, you get punched in the gut hardcore, and it's like right at the end too. But it's stirring. It really is. We're going to talk about it a lot more on the podcast. We're going to spoil the heck out of it on the podcast. But I wanted to just... Yes, it deserves the R rating. The R rating makes it one of the most straight up honest comic book movies I've ever seen, which I know sounds ironic, but trust me, if you see the movie and you understand I mean, I understand this stuff half as much as other people do, and if you understand it half as much as I do, you'll understand exactly what it is I'm talking about. All right, so that's the bottom. I don't want to go on too long. There's too for that. The bottom line is this: there is language, there is violence. Don't necessarily take your kids to see this Wolverine movie, unless that's your get bag. Then, you know, more power to you. But it's violent, it's a little bit funny, but anything more, any funnier than it is would be wrong. It's honest. Just straight up honest, and it's worth every penny. Lay your money down. A hearty recommendation, 2 thumbs up. Snicked, man. So there you go. That is the first incarnation of the comic shop cinema, whatever the heck it is I'm going to call it, describing Logan, first impressions. So there'll be another episode of the Comic Shop podcast coming your way here very soon. That being said, I was about to say we'll see you at the movies, but I think I'm cribbing somebody's copyright if I do that. So pretend I didn't say that. Be well. Take it easy.